The multiplication rule. The multiplication rule works like this. If I have an index inside some brackets and I've got it to a power, these two powers multiply together. The one thing to also be aware of, if I've got a fraction inside, that every power gets multiplied by the power on the outside. As a strategy with these questions, sometimes it is very useful to save the multiplication until the very last step. Simplify the insides of the brackets first, then do a multiplication. Simplify the following expressions. Once again, we're going to make sure that we don't do any extraordinary multiplication. We don't want to do 25 squared. We want to make it 5 to the power of 4. 3 squared in brackets to the power of 5. That's going to be the same as 3 to the power of 2 times 5, which is 3 to the power of 10. B, in brackets 2n squared p cubed, close brackets, to the power of 7. Fun fact, here's a common rookie mistake. People forget to deal with the fact that 2 has a little power of 1 next to it. And sometimes people forget to get that power on the outside multiplied with it. So this is the same as saying 2 to the power of 1 times 7, n to the power of 2 times 7, p to the power of 3 times 7, which is 2 to the power of 7, n to the power of 14, and p to the power of 21. C. In brackets, 64d squared p to the power of 7 over 16h squared, close brackets, all to the power of 3. Now, before we do the multiplication rule, this is an example of a fraction which can be simplified first before we go and do the multiplication rule. So 64 and 16. We've established in a previous example that 64 is the same as saying 2 to the power of 6. 16 is the same as saying 2 to the power of 4. Alternatively, you could also use your fractions. How many times can 16 fit inside 64? So, we're going to rewrite this slightly. We're going to simplify the inside. 2 to the power of 6 divided by 2 to the power of 4 is the same as saying 2 to the power of 6 take away 4. The other letters, however, d squared, p7, p to the power of 7, and h squared, well, they're all different letters, so there's no simplification that can occur, so they can stay as they are. So 2 to the power of 6 take away 4 is going to be equal to 2. And now that we have done this, we can now do this multiplication. And in fact, I'm just going to put a little red 3 there so that we know what's happening. So 6 take away 4 is 2. We're going to times it by 3. D to the power of 2 times 3. And p to the power of 7 times 3. All over h to the power of 2 times 3. And this becomes 2 to the power of 6, d to the power of 6, p to the power of 21, all over h to the power of 6.